There we go. Sorry about that. Hear a lot of stuff in the background. I'm sure you're probably hearing a lot of buzzing around. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monarchs Mocha for what is it, Wednesday? It is Wednesday, right? It's weird. These playoffs sort of kind of have a mind of their own, don't they? Let's roll the open. Let's talk Monarchs baseball in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. The old phone is going crazy today. Put the volume up a little bit. That's a little low, isn't it? A little low. Did you guys even hear that? Yeah, a little low. There we go. There we go. Hear those horns, huh? Yep. Just like we're sitting at a nice roastery cafe is what it feels like, right? With the music playing in the background. Let it kind of fade down there. All right. How's everybody doing today on your Wednesday? Hopefully good. Hopefully everybody's got good. You can see I'm at the Delaware Ridge Studios, the Heights of Delaware Ridge Studios. I love that because I say it every time. No, wait, thumbs up, you're hearing me. I say it every time. It sounds like I'm coming from there's at Pinewood Studios. Did a lot of Star Wars and some of the big Hollywood hits that have been filmed over in Europe. They're all Pinewood's like the big British studio, one of the big ones. There's a couple of them, but that's the one I always seem to remember. And I feel like I should be like at Pinewood Studios. That's something high there. A little breezy out there a while ago. I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign, but I'm walking this morning and there is a red-tailed hawk. Red-tailed hawk sitting on a limb. No, it wasn't that. But red-tailed hawk was a raptor bird, which is what we're playing. I think the red hawks are sort of a raptor, I think. I think they're sort of a hawk, a red-tailed hawk, I think. Well, that's what a red-tailed hawk is. It's a red hawk, I believe. But we have them along here. They're all around here. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but especially on my drive to the ballpark down Parallel or down State, either one. Really, the State Street down here by the amphitheater and the park as you're going back toward the Speedway. Really around the Speedway area, you'll see those red-tailed hawks and owls both along those stretches, and they'll be perched up on top of the light poles. And you'll look and you'll think, oh, it's just a crow. No, that's a red-tailed hawk. Crows aren't going to sit up there. That's a hawk looking for his next snack. Gets a snack, runs it back to the nest or herd of the nest, whoever. I think both do the hunting, don't they, in the bird world? I think. Anyway, I digress. Anyway. All right, we're brought to you by the Roastery Coffee Company. A lot of you folks probably saw this yesterday. I did make a run to Price Chopper and did grab me a couple nitros and what have you. Already burned through one today. Having a smoothie right now. And over here, this one over here is the nitro side. So, but I'm having my smoothie as I'm drinking my nitro. Yes, Kansas City knows Price Chopper, and DB knows Price Chopper, and DB knows the Roastery Coffee Company. So, turn this down just a tad. All right. What do we have today during the lunch hour? And again, it's been busy. My phone's been going crazy. I have this watch that I wear. You guys probably see it where it usually goes. It's how much I wear it. See the tan line there? Can I see the tan line? Move back. In Fargo, my wristwatch band broke, and I didn't have an extra with me, and I didn't have an extra with me in Kansas City, and I needed a new band anyway. So I've been without a watch band the last couple of days. And so when I'm doing my walking, a lot of times I'm able to, somebody message me, I'm able to message, whatever, or quickly yes or no. But when I walked for an hour, I'm gone for an hour, and the phone, it's like a slot machine. And then I was working on something to show you guys in a second. I got a booth cam that, by the way, thanks, Sneedo, for shooting that out to me yesterday when he saw. I was working on it a while ago, and I was trying to work on a split screen. I gave up. I didn't give up. I just ran out of time. I know how to do it now. So my future booth cams will be split screens, hopefully, which is kind of cool because I've never done a split screen edit before. But it's one of those things that I learned how to, I didn't learn how to video edit, but I started video editing. This down a little bit. I think I'm a little overmodulated. Okay, bring that down there. All right. Anyway, there you go. You're going to see that, Brian, as well. But you can see the Roastery Coffee Company there on the screen. Let me flip them there for us. I'm a little bigger. There we go, right there. Roastery, and I'll put them in. I'll put me behind them in a minute. But again, I got that for you. I'll show the booth cam in a minute from Monday night. But the split screen thing I was working on, I realized, oh crap, it's 12:30, and I meant to start at 12 because I was going to get out of here at 1. Now I'm going to be a little bit late getting out of here, but I'll just have lunch here, so it's all good. That's why I went to Price Chopper. Got me some great little salmon portions that I can air fry. Last night you missed it. It should have been a really good cooking show for you. I did buffalo salmon fillets. Buffalo sauce salmon fillets. Not bad, folks. Not bad. All right. First piece of news today. As I bring this down and bring this up. Of course, brought to you by the Roastery Coffee Company with the 6 locations of Kansas City. Each cafe individually to each neighborhood. Of course, my favorite, the factory, and of course the drive-thru right next to it where the DC3 is. Love the Roastery. It's again part of a great coffee culture. I was talking to a friend of mine from Melbourne over the evening in Australia. Was just saying how much miss the Aussie coffee. I said, yeah, but I got great coffee here in Kansas City. So yeah, I heard that too, mate. So as our friend Sneedo says, Melbourne. So anyway, all right. First piece of news today. Let's look at tonight. Now, the Monarchs are going for a 10th postseason win in a row. Now, I know that stat's it's one of those Vegas stats that it means something, but in the probabilities, it doesn't mean as much as you think it does, is what I'm saying. Because the 10 games in a row were last year, then you played another 100 games, and then you played this section of games, right? So if we break down the postseason to 2-0s and 3-0s, we reset our clock, don't we? Because Morgan and I were talking about this the other day. You reset the clock. Your record's now 2-0, 3-0, whatever, right? You reset the stats. All that resets the postseason, which is real small. If you're going to do that, well, it makes sense to also reset the streaks, and that's what's sort of happening here. So even though I look at what you've done the last fortnight, which would be, the longer stretch, 3 wins against Fargo, 2 against Lincoln, and then once at 6. Playoff streak, which is what we're talking about if we reset the numbers, playoff streak would mean you would have a playoff winning streak. So I guess I get it, but it's still kind of an odd stat, but it's a good one. It's something to think about. A perfect 10 would give you the next round. You have 2 cracks at it. There's a lot to digest about today. Let me give you the first piece of news of the day, that Nick Belzer's going tonight. I told you all over the course of the trip to Fargo because Nick or Jalen Miller, neither one made the trip to North Dakota. I knew that. And I knew it was going to be a combo platter. One of the two was going to start. My initial guess was Jalen Miller, but I realized that Belzer hadn't pitched since Friday week before. He pitched the Friday opener here against them in the first ball game, and then it was Hartman Miller, and then Hartman Miller was the last game, so it'd have been Hartman. I'm missing somebody here. I go back and look now. I'm drawing a blank here. Did we spot start in that series? No, we didn't because I'm going back. That weekend series is such a fog. Miller goes on Sunday. So Bells would have pitched on Saturday. Okay. That's what it was. I'll pull it up for you. But anyway, questions or comments about that. But anyway, good news. I think it's a great spot for Nick. He, and just pulling his numbers up most recently, let's just walk back through his season. He was having a good year, goes on the shelf for over a month, and he comes back. And yes, he won the September 5th ball game. He went 5 1/3, 3 earned, 6 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Gosh, who went the 4th game? That's going to drive me nuts. Who went the 4th game? Okay, I would have been I think Brock went on that Friday. That's correct. I think Brock went the Friday game, and then Belzer. I think that's what happened. I'm almost positive. Let's see here. Did he go the 4th? He went second. He went the 2nd. So actually, your playoff rotation, he went the 2nd. So Belzer went Sunday, and then Miller went on Monday. I'm trying to talk myself into what the heck happened. I'm trying to remember what happened here. Okay, all right. And then, okay. Boy, that week was weird. That 4-game series really messed me up because you had Hartman go, Belzer. It was Hartman, Belzer, Miller all went back to back to back. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The Friday game was the one that was Brock Gilliam. So that was it. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Myself in the wrong days here. But anyway, Belzer was very good. Remember, it's your pitching's been so good, you kind of forget how good Belzer's been. You look at Matt Hall, and he's been the storyline. He's been a huge storyline. But Belzer against Fargo, 5 1/3. Remember, he had that stretch. He was on the shelf for about a month, from July 3rd until July 30th. And works in the bullpen on July 30th. Then he comes in and makes the August 5th, 10th, 16th, 21st, 26th, 31st, and 5th starts. The last one being a postseason game. Last 2 times out, 10 1/3 innings, 7 earned runs. But he's gotten wins, and the team's won all 3 of his last starts. And the team is he's gone a quality start in one of his last 3, but just missing it by 2 outs. But again, the team won all 3 of those starts, 5 1/3, 3 earned, struck out in those 16 innings, and 11 strikeouts. So he's a guy that's been very durable, very much an innings eater. He's not gone less than 5. The last time he did was in relief on July 30th. That was a relief outing of 4 innings. That's Sioux Falls. He has gone as far as that time. That was his first time back from the disabled list or the injured list. So it was his first time back, but 5 innings, 6 innings, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5 1/3. So my first key tonight, that's the first piece of news, and I want to hear what y'all's thoughts are. The first key is 5+ with the mark being 6. If Belzer gives you 6, 3 earned, I think you've got a really good shot to win this thing. I mean, I think that's what the recipe's been. That's what the recipe's been. You look at the day-to-days for him, look at the day-to-days when he's pitched. Here's your day-to-days. The Monarchs have won since July 30th. The July 30th ball game, they won 3-0. The August 5th game, the club lost 8-5 in his first start back. Actually, technically, that 30th was a start. That was a start. So he only went 4. It was his first time back. The Monarchs have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his 1, 2, 3, 5 is 8. Now, here's the deal. 2 of those losses, or one of those losses, came in King County. 5 innings, 3 earned, but not a bad outing. The other loss is a 5-2 loss. He went 6 innings, no earned runs. That was a ball game at Sioux City. The Monarchs had a lead in of 2-0, but gave 5 runs away late. He got a no decision there. The Monarchs lost that ball game. Then he's got the stretch against Winnipeg, 7 innings, 3 earned runs. Lincoln, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, but also a no decision. The bullpen, that was the Sunday over there in Lincoln, the bullpen gave away there. So a couple of bullpen losses were no decision. But the ball club has won his last 3 and won 4 of his last 5, the ball club overall. And I think the recipe for the Monarchs has been the very same thing. 9 more times than not, 6 or 7. 5 of 7, whatever, you're going to get 6 innings. 6 innings, you're going to be okay, and that's the recipe. So anyway, I give you that number right there for today. So Bell's reborn tonight, and he'll be across posed by, again, they've got back-to-back lefties here. It's back-to-back-to-back lefties. It's basically the Kevin McGovern starter kit. Now, Peyton Wigington is going tonight, 6'3", 195. He's the rookie. He's a young man who's out of Middle 10, Franklin, Tennessee native. He pitched against Winnipeg 5 2/3 last week, got a 7-3 win. Walked 2, struck out 3, allowed 5 hits. He got the loss here, going 6 innings, 3 earned runs. He's been pretty good lately. The last 2 times out, he's given up 6 earned runs in 11 2/3 innings. And he had a real good stretch there to close out the year, the 19th and 27th of August. He went 13 innings and 6 and 7 in back-to-back starts, 4 earned runs with 14 strikeouts. Now, his strikeouts were a little down last time out against Winnipeg, but he did. And then here in Kansas City, he went 5 1/3 back in July and gave up 4 earned runs. So I'm sorry, against Kansas City in July 22nd, he went 5 1/3, 4 earned in the Monarchs win. So he's faced the Monarchs twice. He's gotten 2 losses, but those last 2 times out, 11 1/3 innings, 7 earned runs, one of those being here, one of those being there. So, hello, Michael. Good to see you. Good to see you, Jim. Good to see you, Brian. See everybody out there. Here at the Delaware Ridge Studios here in Kansas City. So anyway, that's just the numbers, how they break down here. I don't know if those numbers excite you or don't excite you or whatever, but I think the headline of Monday was the ace matchup. Slightly an ace matchup here. This is your number 2s, I would think. A couple of younger guys. You had a veteran in McGovern, a veteran in Matt Hall. These are going to be younger guys. One guy to college, one guy just a couple of years out. And I think it's a little different matchup, but a lefty-righty matchup tonight. Lefty for them, righty for Kansas City. And that's the matchup. Listen, Kevin says, let me double check that, Kevin, because you might be right. Did I get that wrong? Did I have Grauer backwards? Let me see here. Let's see. What did he tell me? I thought he told me. He may have told me the way around. I may have him backwards. Let me double check. Chad had sent me this over the week. Chad and I talked on Sunday about this, and let's see here. He may have given me that way. Let's see. You're right. I'm incorrect. It's Tyler Grauer. I didn't look at my notes. It's Grauer. So scratch that. Let's go back to Grauer again. I'm sorry. My bad. Kevin, thank you for the heads up. And I wrote him in the game notes the wrong way as well, so I have to fix that. Thank you. Grauer, now this is he's a rookie classification too. Indiana State guy. He's a local product. He's pitching here at home. Remember, he's from Shawnee, and he is a local guy pitching tonight. And let's go back on his outing. 6 innings last time out, 2 earned runs, 4 hits. That was against Winnipeg in an 8-3 winner over the weekend to clinch the series for the that was the Friday night game, right? Yeah, it was the Friday night game. That got them even. That was the even up game. Here at Kansas City, 4 1/3, 9 earned, 6 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. That was the Monarchs' 12-3 win. So that is his last outing prior to the Winnipeg outing. Prior to that, he'd been really good. Prior to that, he had allowed just 2, 3, 4 earned runs in 13, 19, 27 innings. But then he had a stretch where he gave 11 earned runs in 11 innings. So, I mean, it's a little up and down late, but he's been really good this year. Looking back over his day-by-days. Pitched here back in May, went 4 innings, scoreless baseball, but a 6-1 Monarchs win. But in this regular season, he was 10-5, a 3.50, 125 2/3, 103 strikeouts. So Tyler Grauer is a tough customer. Bigger guy, 6'5", 220. Of the 3 of McGovern, Wigington, and Grauer, he throws a little harder. He's a little harder to velocity, not overpowering, but a little overpowering. I shouldn't say a little right. His velocity is a little higher than both McGovern and Wigington, especially McGovern. McGovern empties a tank when he really lets it fly. He'll hit 90, but that's only a couple of times, mostly 87, 86, 87, 86. Weddington's sort of the same way, but you're going to see a little more consistent 90, 91 from Grauer. I don't know what the Monarchs will do lineup-wise. I would expect this might be more, the Monarchs have pretty much had the right-handed hitting lineup against the lefties. We had this discussion the other night. Is it JC or is it Alexis? I think it's JC tonight. That's just my guess. But, again, that's just a guess. As far as the lineup card goes. But anyway, so there's your pitching matchup tonight. Lefty for them. So now the storyline is more the rookie. There are two younger guys, but one guy, they're very similar. And both have been in the league almost the same time frame that Grauer has, fewer innings. Nick left and came back, but both got really good pedigrees. It should be a great matchup. Those guys had good college careers, Minnesota State and Indiana State. So it should be a really interesting matchup tonight. My key number one was the 6 innings for the Monarchs. That's key number one. Number 2, Kenny just said it. Fast start be huge. And I would say on the reverse of it, Kenny, is the reverse of it is the fast start be huge and avoiding a hole early. That's another thing. And for either club, but for the Monarchs, from a Monarchs perspective, avoiding a 3-0, 4-0 hole, that's where they're going to get you. And you want to, you keep this thing close. You're down, you're down up 1, down 2, whatever, but you keep it close. It's like the old adage of we talk about the NBA game or an NFL game, stay in that first quarter. Well, same thing, stay in the first couple innings. Don't get out of hand. Don't get upside down. You get off to a good start, that changes everything. And that we've seen that. That's number 2. Number 3 is going to be the Monarchs' adjustments as we go along. We've seen this club make really great adjustments over the course of this stretch of ball games against lefties, because the approach is going to take a real thinking. This is where the guys like Pete Cosmo will shine. We're guys that have seen this before and know the adjustments are going to be very important. A Cosmo down there is a huge piece of weapon there for the Monarchs. A guy that when you get that second and third time through to a tough lefty, what's the adjustment going to be like? And controversially, when the right-hander comes in, he's an extra coach down there. And I think that's huge for him. I also think the Monarchs have got a couple of guys that have been red hot. One being Darnell Sweeney at this ballpark. He's been red hot here. And I don't think Darnell he's a switch hitter. I think Darnell is a real good spot for him, a huge spot where Darnell's played really well here. And so is Jacob Robson. He's had some really good series here as well. So those are my keys right there. They're not really boom, 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 but it's the same recipe we talked about, right? We talked about this whole way. So what do you guys think? What do y'all think about tonight? Of course, we're brought to you by the Roastery Coffee Company. I guess I can put my ugly mug with the Roastery background. You guys want to do that for a moment? Will that not make you guys too seasick? Because I do have something to show y'all. A little booth cam from the other night. Let's see here. Let's just do that. But yeah, I'll go blank for just a moment here. So just don't panic here. Go blank. I'm back. There we go. All right. Yeah. So in case you missed anything, Monday the Monarchs came back. We're down 2-1 the ninth inning, tied in a Pete Cosma single, and then would come back with the big, huge go-ahead home run from J.C. Escada. If I can find my where I put my booth cam here. Let me find it here. Went to okay, here it is. Let's see it. Gotta put it in. I gotta put the system for you guys. Righty. A little bit here. This is the booth cam for their night. I'll play it in just a moment. So what do you feel tonight? So, I'm guessing most of the M8s will be in attendance tonight. Yes, I believe they will be tonight. The mates will be here tonight. But they will be. That's what I'm hearing. One more little note. And I don't think anybody's really said this, but I will say it. You really want to do this tonight. Not because of tomorrow night. It's great you have the reserve, right? But tomorrow night is a little thing called Thursday Night Football around here. And you really don't want to have what is going on here. Come on, can't get Sneedo off. Can't get you off the. Can't get you off the screen. There we go. Sorry, Sneedo. Can't get you off the screen. By the way, Sneedo sent me a link to on Twitter. It was really good. I went back and edited this today, and I was working on some split screen stuff, but it wasn't quite polished yet. So I'm gonna go with the old way I've done it before. It's bigger me and littler JC. I'm gonna give you what I got here. Let's play this for you. This would have been Monday night. This is the booth cam, taking from the broadcast. And I do now. I realize why I went kind of lost my voice a little bit because, well, you'll see in a moment. Let's play it here in 3. You'll know where it's pretty clear where it happens. All right, let's play it 3, 2, 1. Here's the 1-1. Here's one high out toward right center field. That's pretty well hit at the warning track, at the wall. That ball's going to be gone. See you later. 3-run home run. He will touch them all. Oh, man, to right center field and beyond, and Kansas City has a lead. Oh, man, J.C. Escara puts a charge in that one. And the Monarchs have come back in the 9th inning. It's 5-2 Kansas City. Oh, man. Oh, man. And you see me trying to go to the highlights there, so I had to go cut the highlights. That's from over the weekend or from Monday right there. So did you guys enjoy that? Yeah, Mark says he'll be there. Did you guys enjoy that little ditty? Please win tonight. I have high school football. Yes, you do. You do. Please win tonight so I can sleep. I don't know if I can sleep tonight. It's funny, the last couple of games, the last couple of ball games, we've had the time off. I slept like a baby. But not so much on the day. It's an angsty day. I won't be sleeping. So, no. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you. All right. I gave you my keys. What do y'all think? What do you guys think? Well, while you're thinking about that, don't forget tonight, $10 tickets available right now. monarchsbaseball.com. Of course, you can just head the gate. We'd love to have you out. We really need to get some bodies in there and get some energy in there. Have nothing worse than not having energy when you're let's see here. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Why don't our local TV station get the Monarchs anytime? I don't know. Well, I do know. They wear red and they have an arrowhead on their helmet. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, it's a new shrubs. That's a big story, right? Brittany Mahomes is got a new fashion line. That's a big story, right? If the third string deep snapper is going to be, doing something for charity, that's going to be a story. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is, and that's because that brand is so popular. It's the NFL, and they've achieved some big time status here in this market. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the fandom here in this city. But it's a problem I want to tackle, and I've tried a few things. It's hard when you're okay. We don't have the staff to do what we need to do. Okay. I can't tackle all these problems is what I should be tackling. That's a full-time job for someone to be out there peddling the Monarchs. But it's hard. We're not the Royals who can just, call up whoever at this channel, whatever. They'll take my calls, don't get me wrong. But I don't know who showed our highlights last night. And the reason I say that is because yesterday, Karen, when we got back, and rather than take a nap, I decided, you know what? Let's get those highlights sent to the TV stations for the night before. So I pulled the game from the night before, downloaded it, cut the highlights myself. And it was the good news highlights we were using the show yesterday, but I went back and cut a couple of things out and added some things for them and changed the audio. I sent them a link to all the TV stations here in town. Now, I don't know who ran them last night. If they ran any highlights, they ran any cover video, I don't know. But it's a real challenge. And we have this challenge. I'll go back to my time in Jacksonville. The Jaguars have just come into existence down there. The Florida Gators are huge, just 80 miles away or whatever it is. Tallahassee's a couple hours away. Georgia's not far. SEC football, they talk football down there They taught recruiting in the summer. I mean, it's ridiculous. A sports station in Jacksonville, they would talk football recruiting. I mean, who was going to be playing? Who's the tight end at Tennessee? Who is Steve Spurrier going? Who's Spurrier going to get to play quarterback? I mean, that's what you had to listen to. In August is one thing. In June and May, April, and spring games now draw ESPN crews. I mean, it's ridiculous. But there were ways around it. And it's a real grassroots effort. It's you guys saying, hey, of course, back then we had the social media. And that's the change, Karen, is that now Morgan and I have control of what we do. And things like that booth cam right there, I'm going to put that out on Twitter today, and people are going to see it. Now, granted, it's not going to be carried by, Fox 4, but it's people are going to see it. Now, we didn't have that power earlier. We have the power as a brand to be our own voice, our own news station. And we're doing that. I mean, what Morgan's doing and what I'm trying to do here at the show is to inform y'all. Now, I'm not trying to brag here, but only a couple teams do this. Cleveland does it. And there's no reason, and there's no secret why Cleveland last year was the social media winners of the league last year, because they were doing things that we're doing. And, we're doing these things. We're doing these shows. We're doing things in our season. We're not just throwing a podcast out there and slapping up there and be done. We do a show, we do guests. We try our hardest. I try really hard to do that because we can control some of the narrative to a degree. Now, we really want the TV station. Honestly, I don't get my sports news from the TV station. That's just me. And I don't get my sports news ever. If it's on in the background, I look. But now I'm getting Les Kitty's on Channel 8 in Dallas. I'll see him. But in general, I'm getting my sports news, A, from online, B, from my news feed that I follow. Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and mostly Twitter. And that's where we're really strong in. And that's why we're doing our broadcast. One of our staff from Morgan is giving an update between innings. So if you can't be there, can't be at the game, or can't catch a broadcast, we're getting this stuff out. And that booth cam's a great example. Very few people know it exists. It's out there on YouTube every night. Every night you can watch the game on YouTube. Granted, you have to look at my ugly face, but you're at least getting to see what's going on in the booth. That's just an extra thing. So we're creating these things as best we can. It's hard, but I would encourage everybody to sorry about that. Why it's not doing that. NBC did last night, Monday night. Okay. The scores went out. They're following us because I do talk to them. I can tell you that. Sarah says, we'll be there too. Weatherford. I think we should get Hello Weatherford shirts made. What do you think about that? I don't know. With what's his name from, I just drew a blank on his name. But Yellowstone guy, Taylor Sheridan. When Taylor Sheridan go over that, would he not like me claiming Weatherford? Glad you guys are back too. That was Florida. That was good for y'all. I was telling Brandon about it. I should have said y'all were in Florida. NBC carried him. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you for that. The keep at Kaufman. I don't know what that means. The keep. What's that? I don't know what that is. But we get 4. Yeah, and that's and that's the thing. I had a conversation with an unnamed station here, and they were very frank, very nice. This is last Wednesday. We're on the way to Lincoln. Last Tuesday, we're on the way to Lincoln, and I sent out an immediate advisory saying, "Hey, we're playing tomorrow night. We're playing in Lincoln. We'll be back on Friday, possibly Saturday." And I know, of course, there's a lot of stuff going on last week, a NASCAR race, all that, Chiefs, whatever, NFL opener, all that. KU's playing better football. K-State at Missouri. There was all stuff going on last week. We're playing them in a week. I sent a media advisory out. A local station who I will not name because it's not a wrong conversation. He emailed me back saying, "Hey, love to get out there. Are you guys working out on Thursday?" I said, "No, the guys will be." And I asked Joe. Joe was sitting right behind me. I said, "Joe, we working out Thursday? Are the guys going to be off?" They'll be off. And I wrote the station back. I said, "Look, our guys will be getting back in late. They're going to be off Thursday. We can get you early Friday if you want to do an interview or whatever." But now I wasn't, short of having those guys, no, they could have done a Zoom call. We could have done something like that. But they want to get them working out and all that and doing a little preview. And I said, they'll be out there Friday. He said, well, we've got high school football Friday. We have sponsored shows and highlights. And I get it. And I wrote them back and said, I understand. My first summer my first internship in school turned into a low-paying do-it-all for the sports, the ABC affiliate in Lubbock, and I did all that. I did the highlights and went to high school games and all that. And our Friday night show was a big deal. Bill Seitzer, who's a real dear mate of mine, lives in Austin and is a consultant on TV, a really good dude, follows us quite a bit. Bill was kind of my early mentor then. And, that high school football show was huge because everybody in the South Plains and over in eastern New Mexico watched that show. And they wanted to know how did Abernathy do? How did Hale Center do? How did Muleshoe do? How did Seminole do? They want to know, and they want to know the big high schools too. Because all those little towns they were all watching that. That's a huge deal. Now, granted, that was before we had this whole internet explosion, but that's big stuff. And Kenny Matthews, a dear friend of mine, covers high school football as good as anyone does in the world. He works for a group down in DFW. You think high school sports aren't? Think of in Kansas City. I'm not trying to insult anybody here, but Friday Night Lights in Texas draws 20,000 a game. There are towns that have stadiums that seat 15,000. Small towns. That's a big deal. So I get it. I understand the optics of it, but that's the challenge we have, and that's why. How do we do that? And I think that what we do, and we're doing is right, is to give them the option. We send that. We're going to do what we have to always do. We're always going to send them highlights. We're going to send them press releases and stories. I write the stories, or we write the stories for them, so they don't have to. They can basically read it verbatim. It's all written for them, and they can use it without. It's not a press release. It's a story, and they can use it in their script, highlight links, and all that. We do that for them, and a lot of the stations do. They do use them. They do contact me. But I know our place we know our place in the pecking order. I get it. That doesn't mean it has to stay that way, but it doesn't mean we can't continue to grassroots and also fight like heck to get our name out there. That's what we're going to do. And we got to keep doing it. But we can now tell our story. A TikTok video or a documentary, a mini doc, or these shows are telling our story. And you're not seeing the NBC affiliate, ABC affiliate, CBS affiliate. They do a show during lunchtime. It's the news. What story are they telling? They're telling everybody's story. And they're squeezing everybody's story into 1 little hour or whatever, right? Or what cooking demonstration you want to do. And that's what they do. What we do is promote our brand. That means shows like this, things that Morgs does, and our broadcast, that's all part of it. And you guys are part of it too. So I get a little passionate about this because it does matter to me, and it does frustrate me. I will tell you that probably is the biggest thing that frustrates me is when I hear that we don't get the coverage we feel like that people want. But remember, we're getting coverage here. And while maybe the TV station decides to mention us but doesn't show a highlight, that's okay, because I'm going to show you the highlights if I can get around to it, if I can get to it. If I have the time to sleep a little bit and do my work, I'm going to try to get those highlights to you best I can. If not, we're going to put them on Twitter for you. If they're on our Twitter feed, on our Facebook feed, on Instagram, that's all there for you. So I encourage you, if you're not a big fan of social media, you don't have to be on and be typing away and getting engaged, but at least I encourage you to follow us on all our channels. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you want to do that. The booth cam on YouTube's another place you can see, what we're doing in the broadcast. You can go to my SoundCloud page, my personal name. SoundCloud's got all the Monarchs flashback moments and the thanks to the Negro League Museum are all on there. At least most of the season's on there. I encourage you guys to follow that. And I'm not telling you not to watch our friends of the affiliates. I'm not saying that. We need to get in the habit of where we get our news from. I no longer hope for the Kansas City Star. There's not one delivered to my doorstep. Not because I hate the sport. I don't get newspapers anywhere. And you walk into hotels now. It used to be you walk in a hotel with USA Today and the local paper. You might get a USA Today in some chains, but now the local paper machine, the little paper machine that's outside the Denny's or the Waffle House, doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist. The Sunday paper, which I used to live for, is a mere small portion of what it used to be. That's the way it is. People get the news on the internet. They get the news on their food. I go in there a few minutes and I'll quickly check what's going on in the world. I'll quickly check my news feed. How are we doing in the world? Everything okay? It's done. So anyway, I know I got a little bit of a tangent there. Sorry about that, but I think that's clear. That's a good point. Dan O'Dan shirts. I love that too. Thank you very much. Anyway, Paul Morgan shirts. I talked to Paul last night. Yeah, I know. I promised a lot of things. Turn on the audio. Okay, I thought I turned it down a little bit earlier. I'll turn it down a little bit more. Is that better, Brian? I turned it down a little bit earlier. I had it up a little bit, so sorry about that. Okay. There used to be a group that I always wanted to be a part of. Back in the day in old San Antonio's Hemisphere Arena. Hemisphere Arena predates the Alamo Dome, which predates AT&T Center down there. And I got on to Spurs games at Hemisphere, and this is back when I was just out of college. And I had a friend of mine who had really good seats down there. Her family, the courtside seats. It was great to be at the Hemisphere and be right there. And this was like the early rookie year, David Robinson, maybe his second or third year. And you down low, it was kind of cool. The Hemisphere had this group of seats called the Baseline Bums. And they had a banner called the Baseline Bums. And the Baseline Bums would sit on the baseline, but upstairs, like in kind of a perch. There were seats that they weren't bad. They weren't courtside, but they were a place and kind of be rowdy, have a good time. They were really hardcore fans who were there every night. The Baseline Bums. So when they went to the Alamo Dome, they put them up in the corner, and they were kind of went away. And now the AT&T Center, they put them in a new place now, and they've got a really kind of cool area. When Jim and I were down there March 2 years ago, right before the pandemic started, we didn't go last year. We went, 2 years ago. We went down because they didn't play. We didn't have crowd controls over that first year. We went down and we sat right next to the Baseline Bums are on the club level, but in the corner of the club level, they got a banner there. It's a big deal. They have their own T-shirts, and everybody in San Antonio knows the Baseline Bums. Everybody knows them. Every Spurs fan knows the Baseline Bums. And to be a part of that group's a pretty big deal. And so I love the full reference of what you guys are doing. The mates, I think that's another thing that grows. That we're talking about TV coverage, that if we get that kind of hardcore fandom that are really into it, I'll tell you there's a really good job of that. Here's those Sporting KC. Sporting KC has got some really hardcore soccer fans. I mean, they are hardcore. And I came the other day at the pub after a game a couple weeks ago, and I was at Owls. These guys come in with full kit, scarves, and all that. They're all into it. And I think there's a place. Fans have a place to help us as well. And I appreciate all the efforts that guys like Schluto and you folks are doing, the Nates, Mark, all y'all, because that's part of the equation too. What we do as a brand in the media department, marketing, promotions, social, all that, has also helped huge by you folks. Because if Chris goes out and meets somebody, he and his girlfriend go out and have dinner with some folks that they hadn't seen in a while, and what have you all been doing? Oh, I'm going to Monarchs games. Have a great time. And you look at the other couple, looks at each other and goes, we haven't been in a while. Or I haven't been in years. I haven't been since I changed the name. No owners. And the conversation goes from there organically. So that's another thing that I think we don't talk enough about. Culver is, yes, that's it. That's the group. Those guys had t-shirts. They walked into Owls that night, Dan. This was last Saturday night, a couple weeks ago. They walked in, they had their shirts on, and they had their scarves. It was in there big. I would propose the owner's suite. What you want, Mark? The mates and the owner's suite. You have to work that out, Mr. Bradmeyer. Kenny says, I hope Cleveland wins out so I can see the Monarchs down here. That'd be great. It would be great. I don't know what to think about that series. Again, somebody's facing elimination tonight, which still doesn't seem right to me. And I thought about this today in my 4-team idea. How would that work? Those out there, 4 teams all playing in one place. Seed them all 1 through 4. One plays 4, 2 plays 3. Winner of that first game gets a day off. The next day, the other two teams play a doubleheader. Right? And if they split a doubleheader, they play again the next day to stay alive. The winner of that game stays alive and plays the winner of, and that's as far as I've gotten. So I'm kind of like thinking this thing through. But I'm kind of, my mind's really churning on how that would seemingly work. How can you make it work? So that's as far as I got this morning in my walk. I'm thinking, now what do I do in the third day? Because you want to do double elimination, if not 3, right? And 4 teams is kind of hard unless you did 1-4 with a best of 3 and 2-3 with a best of 3, and they meet. That's a possibility too. But I like the College World Series style. Karen says, we love our Monarchs. We'll shout their praises as we can. Thank you, Karen, and I know you will. I know you will, and I appreciate that so much. So here, Kevin says, what is frustrating that even though, let's see if I get this up here. Kevin says, what was frustrating that even though neither industry would admit it, coverage in newspapers and TV drives some fans to come out to games. That's a really good point. Back in the day, in newspapers, we had a huge print ad in Burlington. I remember this. I had to sit down with the salesperson in Burlington, the Burlington Hawkeye, called the Hawkeye. And I would sit down with them, and we'd go through our ads for the year, or for the homestand or whatever, a couple times a summer. We usually got them all done early. I'd sit there with them, and we had a little coupon in there too. If you brought the ad in, you got in for a discount. We had some things in there. There were some reasons to get the paper, and the reason to bring said paper to the ballpark. And what I'm saying to you is, okay, now you're not putting papers, but going to the newspaper website, Kansas City Star in this case, Kansas City Star night at the ballpark, Tuesday night, mention the Star, or they got to go to their website and get this QR code. Maybe they got to go in there and go into the lifestyle section or some section and find the mystery code. So you find the mystery or find the code in there in the sports page, and they're going to visit your website. It doesn't mean they're going to stay, but at least they're there. And how the whole thing works is to get people there, right? Get traffic there, and they change, because that happens to me. I will open up something, I don't know what rabbit hole. I can't tell you how many times I have gone to look up something on the internet and wind up going to different channels. Happens that way, man. Really good idea. It's really good that you bring that up. That's one thing we have not talked about. Robert says, expecting a big game for yes. Robert, I would agree with you, and I would tell you that I looked at those numbers today when I was putting the notes together. Jan's kind of had a quiet postseason so far, and I think a lot of that's because teams they just not going to give much. They're just not going to. I mean, but you're taking your chances there because the people around him are delivering. I mentioned earlier Sweeney. I thought Sweeney's had a really good postseason. Casey, actually, I wrote his postseason numbers down. He's also been very good in this ballpark. He's been very good in this ballpark in general. But, yeah, I would think so. Those are all you can't – John Hernandez, you just can't sleep on and say, well, he's going to be whatever, 1 for 11 forever, okay? And I think this lineup card's just too good, I think. Great play, Robert. What else you guys got today, this afternoon? Tributes, Cubs scorecards and folks. Yes, another great example. But that's an example maybe where you go in and go, okay, Kansas City Star, whoever, we're going to put a Monarchs scorecard in we're going to buy it. Monarchs will do something with it. We had to spend something on the front end. So let's say we spend X amount of dollars to put a Monarchs scorecard on their website. The return is, for one of those we get back, they get there's something, they bring that to the ball game, and that gets them in the ballpark for a discount. These are kind of things you got to do. The media partners have to have reciprocal agreement, right? I just can't call the Star and say, hey, I want you to advertise. I want you to promote us. They're going to say, well, we want to advertise, right? They survive on advertising like we survive on tickets and advertising. The same business principle. They got to bring income in, and their income is solely based upon advertising. Ours is probably advertising, but it's very similar. And how do we make that work? How do you make your media partners work? Well, I would say, for example, and I'll use this in Burlington, I mean, there's the Hawkeye. Hawkeye had those Tuesday night family nights. And there was a big thing in the paper, and they had a big deal they did out there and had a display and all the things they need to do, subscriptions and all the things they need to do. They basically had a run of the place on a Tuesday. I mean, places I've been where the TV station sponsors the fireworks, and in turn, the ball club runs ads on said TV station. The TV station gets to run the ballpark on those fireworks nights. They get the name out there. The weatherman pushes the button, and everybody gets something, right? It's push and pull. I'm gonna scratch your back and scratch mine, but both brands are being promoted. TV stations being promoted as the official fireworks sponsor, and you're being promoted on the TV station as, hey, come out to the ballpark, we're going to be out there tonight. That's the partnership that we need to have. So, how did you join the inmate, Sarah? Contact Mark or Casino. I don't know. That's their deal. But yes, Mark, Sarah, Mark, you guys discuss that amongst yourselves. I would agree too, Mark, that championships, and I will tell you this, tip the cap to our media partners. They've been very good about that. I've gotten no less than, 5 texts or emails saying, congratulations on a great season from our media partners. I get it. They've got an editor too, or a producer or director, news director that wants a show, and the sports director's got to put together a show with only so many minutes. And it used to be when I worked in TV, 4 to 5, 6 minutes was a good show. 4, 5, or 6 minutes, and I do a TV package, which I wanted. And I remember my first TV packages were long. How long with it anyway? We're trying to cut it down to a minute and a half to tell stories. Hard. A minute, that's hard. And now we live in a world of sound bites and tweets. So I guess that was where we're heading. But yeah. Anyway, you guys get Sarah part of the maids, please. All right. That's your assignment. That's your homework assignment, gentlemen. Everybody. Roastery Coffee Company, 6 locations in Kansas City. When I get to the office in a few minutes, which I got to get going here because I got to be there in about an hour. But I'm going to get there and take Joe's show and have a nice cold brew. They're in my fridge, ready to go. Ready to go. I guarantee. Tim says they don't show K-State. Well, why would they? Just kidding, Tim. I'm kidding, mate. I'm kidding. Just kidding. You let me wide open for that. That was right down the middle of the strike zone. I mean, I couldn't miss. I couldn't miss that lob. Anyway, yeah. That's again. I can tell you as well. I'll give you DFW as an example. I know I hate to do that to you folks, but SMU, TCU both play Division I football in the market. Okay, you've also got alumni bases of both Texas Tech, Texas A&M, University of Texas, Baylor, which is 90 miles away, Oklahoma, which is 2.5 hours north, Oklahoma State, 5 hours north. From Arkansas folks there too. So suddenly you have all these schools to cover, and you only got 4 minutes. Oh, and by the way, you got the Cowboys. Oh, and you got a baseball team that stinks. You got a hockey team that's pretty good, and the NBA team is really good. With one of the best stars in the game. How does SMU get coverage? I take you back to Kansas City. You've got the face of the NFL playing for your team right now. It won't always be that way, folks. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's great times right now. He's the face of the NFL. He is. The Chiefs are a really popular team. Hugely popular. They do it right with great ownership and all that, and they do all the right things, but they're in the NFL. It's a TV game. And then you got that going against you, right? Now, that's going to get a lot of coverage. So the pecking order from there, what's next? Well, the Royals going to finish the season out. That's your other major league team. Soccer's not done real well. And then it starts to become, all right, what's the next closest thing? Well, we got a lot of KU, a lot of KSU. KU had the basketball, so they get their coverage in the basketball season, which they do. KSU football is really good right now. They just slapped Missouri around last weekend. But again, you see the pecking order, it drops down a bit. Oh, and by the way, you got some really good high school sports in 2 different states. And you got the top-ranked state team, Missouri, top-ranked Kansas. They're right there, right? I mean, you've got a lot going on. And oh, by the way, we had a race last weekend. There was a pretty big race in the NASCAR circuit. See where I'm going? I mean, it's hard for the KSUs. Everybody, it's hard for everyone. And that's why you, Tim, you know this. I guarantee you, Tim, you probably listen to Wildcat Radio Network, and you probably subscribe to all their channels, and you probably see their stuff on Twitter. I see it. I follow because I've got some former staff working there. Caitlin's working there. Sarah worked there. I want to see what their folks are doing. KU the same way. I'm not a KU fan, but I follow them. I'm following teams I don't necessarily have any allegiance to, but I want to see what they're doing. Today, when I sit down with a little time I have today, I will go to my news feed and I will get all my Texas Tech news in one on my news feeds. I don't have to wait for Channel 8 to tell me or the Lubbock paper to come out. I will go find it. I know where it's at. It's there. My buddy Ryan Hyde, who listens to our broadcast, he does a show every day. I'll go back and listen to his highlights of his show, and a little bit later when I'm getting prepared for our broadcast, just to kind of get my mind right. He's good. So anyway, good stuff. Let's see here. There's a Sarah must be a person. Well, be a person. Well, a Monarchs person is basic. Yes, group chat during the game. Bubba Wallace with a NASCAR race in Kansas. Tim, come on. I got mad at me, are you? I'm a Red Raider. You guys kick our butts in football. Although I have a lot to thank you for because the Monarchs, the Red Raiders are in the right path because of the loss last year to KSU. Let's see here. You know I love you, mate. What else we got? KC's pretty ground zero with sports fans, 3 pro teams, 2 minor league teams. Yes, again, Brian, you're right. That's what I'm saying. It's a great. It doesn't. You give me any market. Give me university. Give me Twin Cities. Minneapolis, St. Paul. University of Minnesota is located there in St. Paul. Now that's a pretty big story. Their sports are big, but what's the biggest thing in the Twin Cities? The Vikings, the Twins, hockey. I would tell you hockey's right up there with the Vikings. You've also got the NBA there. You've got the University of Minnesota there. They've got hockey, they've got football, they've got basketball, baseball, that in their other sports. And then what? You got Wisconsin's only 40 minutes away across the border. You got some Wisconsin fans. You've got, just south of you a little ways, you got down to Iowa. I mean, you start, if you're an Iowa fan, you live in the Twin Cities, you're never going to hear much about Iowa unless how you find it, right? Unless Iowa's playing Minnesota. That's my point. I mean, it's just so much stuff going on. It's a world of so many things going on. Back in the day, and I said, this is what goes back to, bringing back the Monarchs and the Negro Leagues. When the Monarchs were playing and then the Blues were playing, the Kansas City Blues were the white team, the American Association team playing, and they had the use of Gearbox Stadium or Municipal Stadium, whatever you want to call it. They got it more times than not, but the Monarchs were kind of the second citizens. Back then, only had really college sports. There was a hockey team here called the Monarchs back in those days, and you had the 2 baseball teams. That was it. And even then, the Monarchs had a hard time because of racism, blatant racism. And, they were treated as second-class citizens, and they only had 2 sports. So we've come a long way with more sports, and no one's being treated as a second-class citizen because of their race. Thankfully, we've gone past that. But, the challenges have always been the same. That try to get, the Monarchs challenges the 1920s and 30s, getting dates to play in stadiums. That's why we talked about them playing in St. Louis or Quincy, Illinois, or wherever, because they had to go where they take it to the people. Because they were treated unfairly because of the color of their skin, which is ridiculous. But now we got a situation where we got all this entertainment, and it's everywhere. And how do you pick? I mean, how do you pick? Oh, by the way, not everybody likes sports. Some folks like art. Some folks like concerts. Some folks like go to the Van Gogh exhibit, whatever. Some folks like Broadway musicals. Some folks there's all kinds of stuff out there. Anyway, you guys got us all. Good conversation today. Casey is the first women's soccer. Exactly. And again, that's just one more, and that's going to be a nice place. But I believe it can all coexist because the way we do our branding on media now is different than what it was 20 years ago. We don't, yes, we need the TV stations to be on our side. I'm not saying we don't, we do need them. But the KC Current did a great job of selling themselves and building up their name unveiling. They did a great job of presenting their product to their fans through their social channels and controlling their narrative. Yes, they got help locally. But what you got to remember is every time I tweet something out, and the ball club does, it's picked up by the KC Chamber of Commerce, the Negro Leagues Museum, the mayor's office, and so on and so on and so on, and it grows. That's how it works now. So anyway, other than the Saints have the niche, no minor league team in sport for the last 30 years has worked in the Twin Cities. Yeah, and see, he's up there. He knows. Nate says, I'll be at school having lunch right now. Instead, I'm at home sick at the moment. Overheard that Jack Michael's show in Kansas City switched their starters. Yeah, well, we didn't. Okay, let me rephrase this. It wasn't switched, so I don't start that, Nate. It wasn't switched. I didn't know for sure because neither Belzer or Miller went with us to Fargo. I presumed it'd be one of the two, and I told them that, but I wasn't sure. My guess was, I was only guessing was Miller, and I guessed wrong. I asked Joe, what we do here, we're off in this league. When our team is off, I let them be off. I didn't message Joe till late last night because I didn't want to bug him during the off day because I just don't want to do that. He needs his time. Doesn't want to be bugged by me. And I just assumed it was Miller because that's how it was last week. That's what I went with. But it was going to be a right-hander, so neither one made the trip. Neither one made the trip to Fargo. So what it wasn't switched up. That's just the way it worked. This is how it worked. The last time we faced Fargo in the series here, this is the rotation we went with. Belzer then Miller. So it wasn't even switched. It was just anyway, it's not any gamesmanship. I'm not going to start. That's not happening. I'll tell you that right now. So anyway. All right, last call. I got to get going, guys. I got to get going. All right, broadcast time tonight. Remember, at 6:30 tonight. First pitch at 6:30. Gates over at 5:30. We'll be at 6 o'clock. I got talking about the fantastic game, maybe the most legendary game of the 1924 Negro Leagues World Series. I'll talk about that tonight. Talk to Joe as well. Get you ready for this one tonight on the radio and TV side. The TV starts about a quarter after. It kind of depends on what's going on in Morgan's show, what they've got going on. You can find that on AA Baseball TV. AA Baseball TV. There we go. And Monarchs Broadcast Network. Pop this up there on the screen for you. There we go. Monarchs Broadcast Network. We will have that for you. That's part of it, is the TV side as well. So, oops, sorry about that. There we go. Bring those together. And in the radio side tonight, and if you want to join the mates, that's the place to do it. Go to the radio side and go to MixLR or Mixler. We call it MixLR, but Mixler. And that's where you get our radio broadcast right there. Yes. We love you too. We love you too, guys. Love y'all. Let's see here. Studio echoing what I think a lot of folks have told me as well. There's a Monarchs game tomorrow, which I hope there's not. I love that, though. Dan, I'll see you tonight, mate, as well. Mark, I appreciate the kind words. I do appreciate the kind words. I'm passionate, man. I care. It matters to me. No one in the local stations yet. They feel must broadcast commercials. Hey, I like that idea. Brian, I like that idea. You know what? A couple of teams do that. Fargo does it, and I believe Sioux City has a weather forecast. And that's, again, a partnership where the weatherman gives the forecast. They play during the game. It's a great idea. It's a great idea, and a couple teams do it. That's a really good idea with the logo up there. Absolutely. What else we got? So excited for the night. Thank you very much. Hope, appreciate your kind words. Let's go. You guys ready for some Let's Go Monarchs? You guys ready? I'm ready. I gotta get going, man. I still haven't showered yet. All righty, let's get to the 1, 2, 3 go Monarchs going here. Here we go. I'll leave Hope's thing on the screen. There we go. Y'all ready? I'm ready. You're ready. We're all ready for a 1, 2, 3 go Monarchs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 go Monarchs. I'll see the broadcast with everybody. Here we go. Here we go. I see y'all. Feel y'all.